So, you're ready to sell your home, but you're not quite sure where to even start? It's a huge deal, probably one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Well, in the next 5 minutes, we're going to give you a super clear roadmap to navigate the entire thing, from that first little thought of selling to the moment you hand over the keys.
Look, the whole idea of selling, it can feel absolutely massive, right? You've got dozens of tasks, critical decisions to make, and a lot of money on the line. It is completely normal to feel a bit overwhelmed by all the moving parts.
But here's the thing, you are definitely not alone in feeling that way. The secret to swapping out that stress for some real confidence is having a clear roadmap. So, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to build that map together, breaking this whole journey down into simple, totally manageable stages.
So here's the game plan. We'll start at the very beginning, then get your house completely market ready. After that, we'll talk about attracting the right buyers, decoding the offers they send, navigating that final stretch to closing, and we'll wrap it all up with your key takeaways for success.
First up, the seller's starting line. Think of this less as a to-do list and more as a mindset shift. It's all about understanding the strategic journey you're about to embark on and getting your head in the game.
Okay, from that mindset, we move to the practical work, getting your house ready. Honestly, this is where the magic really happens, because the effort you put in before your home officially hits the market can have a huge impact on your final sale price and how fast you sell.
You know the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression? Well, it's literally true for houses. So let's make it count. Declutter and deep clean until that place shines. You want buyers to see themselves here, not your stuff. Tackle all those nagging little repairs you've been putting off. Oh, and here's a great tip for curb appeal. Studies show a fresh coat of paint on the front door, maybe in a bold color, can actually increase how much people think the house is worth. And finally, whatever you do, do not skip professional photos. In today's market, your online listing is your front door.
Okay, so your house looks amazing. It is sparkling clean, the landscaping is pristine, but now for the million-dollar question, sometimes literally, how in the world do you set the right price?
Pricing isn't just a guessing game. It's a data-driven strategy. It really boils down to 3 key steps. First, your agent's going to run a comparative market analysis, or a CMA. Just think of it like a report card for your neighborhood, showing what similar homes nearby have actually sold for. It's your reality check. Second, you got to trust the expertise of a great local agent. They know the market's pulse way better than any algorithm. And third, you have to factor in timing. The spring market is a totally different beast than the winter lull.
Now, why is getting that price right from day one so incredibly important? It really comes down to this one single powerful number, 50%.
So what does that number mean? Well, according to the National Association of Realtors, a home that's priced correctly from day one sells, on average, 50% faster. And that's not just a nice little bonus, that's a game changer. It saves you weeks of mortgage payments, showings, and just uncertainty. All right, your home is prepped and priced perfectly. Now it's time to go live. This next section is all about the active marketing phase, how we actually get qualified buyers in the door. Forget just sticking a sign in the yard. Your modern toolkit is all digital. That means an MLS listing for maximum exposure, getting featured on portals like Zillow, and using social media with cool video tours. But here's a pro tip that's becoming a bit of a secret weapon: coming soon campaigns. This strategy builds incredible buzz before you even officially list. It's exactly what the Martinez family, who we'll hear about in a bit, used to get a ton of offers right out of the gate. The marketing works and the offers start rolling in. Now, this is an exciting but often kind of complex part of the process. So let's decode the deal. It's so easy to get fixated on the price, but the best offer is about way more than just the number. You have to weigh the entire package. You know, how strong is the buyer's financing? Are they paying cash, or do they have a rock-solid pre-approval? Are they asking for a bunch of contingencies, like inspections, that add risk? And does their closing timeline actually work for you? Sometimes a slightly lower offer with fewer strings attached is the smarter, safer bet.
You've accepted an offer and you signed a contract. Congratulations, but you're not quite at the finish line yet. Welcome to the final stretch, the closing process.
This final phase, from contract to closing, usually takes about 30 to 60 days. There are a few key milestones along the way. First, the buyer does their inspection. Then their lender orders an appraisal to make sure the home is worth the loan amount. Right before closing, there's a final walkthrough, just to check on the property's condition. And then, it's the big day, closing day, where you sign all the paperwork and officially hand over those keys. Of course, this final stretch can have its bumps. But being prepared is your best defense against surprises. For example, what happens if the appraisal comes in low? Your agent should be ready with recent comparable sales data to challenge it. What about inspection issues? You can get ahead of this by addressing those minor, obvious repairs before you even list. And to avoid the heartache of a deal falling apart, always prioritize buyers with solid pre-approval letters.
Whew, we've covered a lot of ground in a really short amount of time. So let's distill all of this down into the blueprint for your success. And this process gets results. Remember the Martinez family I mentioned? They followed this exact blueprint. They priced their home strategically and used that coming soon campaign to build major hype. The result? Their home sold in just 10 days for above the asking price. It's just a perfect example of what's possible when you have the right plan.
And speaking of results, let's talk about putting more money back in your pocket. Some modern brokerage models offer things like rebate programs. For instance, a 0.5% rebate on a $600,000 home could mean an extra $3,000 for you at closing. I mean, that's a pretty significant saving worth looking into.
So let's boil it all down. If you take away just 4 things, make it these. 1. Preparation is non-negotiable. It's where you create value. 2. Price it right from the very start to attract the best buyers. 3. Market aggressively across all the modern channels. And 4. Navigate the closing process with a proactive plan to handle any bumps in the road.
We've laid out the entire roadmap, from those first initial thoughts to the final signature. So the only question left is, what's the very first step you're going to take on your selling journey?